his head and I hit the road. I'll see you when I get there. I'm gonna see you when I get there. I'll see you when I get
That's some of what audiences can expect from Stereophonic, the new Broadway play with music which takes us back to 1976 and inside the California recording studio of an up-and-coming fictional rock band as the group navigates heartbreak, its newfound fame, and the challenges of creating a lasting sound together. The production has received rave reviews, with the New York Times writing, quote, Stereophonic is a staggering achievement and already feels like a must-see American classic. Joining us now, one of the show's co-stars who makes her Broadway debut here, Juliana Canfield, the show's writer, David Adjemi, and the Grammy Award-winning and Academy Award-nominated composer of the show's original songs, Will Butler.
No way.
He's a former member of the band Arcade Fire.
Yeah, so,
wow.
So guys,
where do we begin? Very cool.
I think we begin with staggering achievement.
That's not bad. That's a good start, guys.
That beats being called, as John Lennon said, a blankhead.
Yeah.
But anyway, staggering achievement. Will,
that's not bad.
Let's start with you. Not a bad review, and all the reviews just extraordinary.
Yeah, we got those on opening night, and I foolishly read them at the opening night party. It's like, why am I reading the reviews? What have I become? And I was like, but it makes me feel good, though. I like that they like it, though.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And what is it, David? What is so fascinating to viewers, to people in the audience about a story like this? Because there have been a few not executed quite this well, but there have been a few that kind of dive into this subject matter.
Well, I think people love rock and roll, and I think people are always interested in what's behind the surface images and the mythologies that we know so well. So I really wanted to demystify what people think they understand about rock and what they think they understand about artistic processes and sort of peel back the surface, and I think people are interested in that. The show is very intimate. It's not just blown out with rock and roll, although we have amazing music and Will did an incredible job. But I'm really more interested in what's underneath the surface, and so I think people get kind of transfixed by that.
Yeah, Juliana, speaking of the creative process, talk about Broadway and talk about your experience.
How's it feel?
Yeah, making that change.
You know, it's delightful, and the audiences love the jokes in the play. David wrote such a funny play, and I just feel the audience is loving all of the humor that's embedded into the fabric of the show. And we've done the show now. We started doing it in October, and so I feel like we've all steeped in it. It's like a very strong, good pot of tea, and we just get more and more comfortable and are loving it.
So, David, as Joe noted, there have been other swipes at this particular subject matter, but talk to us about the origin of this particular tale. What were your influences? Where did this come from?
Well, it's kind of weird. I don't get like linear ideas that lead to something specific, but when I was on a plane trip, I was on a plane going somewhere, and I was listening in in-flight radio to a Led Zeppelin song, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. And for some reason, I knew the song because my brother used to play it over and over on his guitar when I was a kid. And there was something about the tenor of that music and the intensity of the vocals on that song that really struck me. And I just suddenly got a picture in my mind's eye of this studio where this guy was singing these very, very intense vocals. And suddenly I just thought, wait a minute, like, what if that's a play? What would that set look like? What are the sonic opportunities of using a music studio as a set? Because I'd seen it done in like small ways, but really not as a dramatic landscape. And so it's just something about the intensity of the music and the intensity of that song and this kind of weird push-pull dynamic in the lyrics. With this guy saying, I want to leave you, but also, like, I could never leave you. And there was something about all of that that kind of planted a seed in my mind, and I knew I wanted to write something about it.
That's a pretty awesome inspirational starting point. Well, let's talk about you writing music for an era. I love how it's described for a band that grew up listening to the White Album and the type of music that Kurt Cobain would be listening to in the 80s. I mean, that's a real sweet spot. And, you know, that really was a period of time, just one of the greatest periods of time for rock music, other than, of course, every time Arcade Fire released a new album. But other than that, I mean, how fun is it to put your mind into, like, I'm a 1976 man. Frampton Comes Alive is out. You know, you got Todd Rundgren, you got the Eagles, Hotel Cal. I mean, an incredible time, right?
Yeah, and David made a pretty intense chronology towards the end there, and I was like, oh, reading the chronology, I was like, oh, the first Tom Petty album comes out 2 months into the studio, when they're into the studio, and so I'm just like, I'm just gonna blast the Tom Petty album for research. Yeah. Just like listen to it all day. It's like, oh yeah, they're in the studio and this record comes out and they're like, we got to top this. We got to this is a really good record.
So Juliana, tell us about your character and a little bit more about no spoilers, but a little bit more as to what the audience sees as the story unfolds.
Sure. So I play Holly. She plays the piano and the keys in the band, and she's one of the original members of the band. She's from England. She's a sort of accidental American transplant. And what's so wonderful about the play is it's kind of hard to categorize any of the characters. Like, they all play so many roles and have so many colors to them. So it's hard to say that she's like the enforcer or the musical connoisseur or the mother of the group or the like sweet girl of the group. She kind of has all of these different opportunities to express a range of wild emotions. And you just watch this band who have already recorded an album together and are back in the studio. You watched them in process, killing each other, killing themselves to make something beautiful. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty painful, but wonderful.
Speaking of painful, you know, David, Will obviously a great musician. I'm obviously a bad musician. I've been playing music. I've been playing guitar, keyboards, etc. since I was like 12, 13.
Really?
And I still get nervous when I get on stage with them. It's like, what am I going to? Okay, is this gonna right? So I only set that up to say, your actors had to be freaking out that they had to go out and do something that's not natural. I mean, but playing
Totally
instruments.
relaxed.
Talk about that.
You're right. They were freaking out. It was. I mean, we had to tick a lot of. We had to tick a lot of. Yeah. We had to tick a lot of boxes in the casting process because the play is actually really hard to do without music. It's a really intricate script. There's a lot of very precisely choreographed overlaps in the dialogue. I make it really hard for them. And so we really focused when we were casting on finding people who could act and also sing, and if they could play an instrument, great. But it turned out like most of them really couldn't play instruments, and so we thought, okay, we're gonna teach them how to play instruments as part of a rehearsal process. So we got them music lessons, and they did band practice for like 6 hours a day when normal people would be just rehearsing a script. So it was involved, and it was sometimes a little bit hairy, but they turned out to be so incredible. I am blown away by the virtuosity of these human beings on stage doing this every night. And people think it's fake. It's not fake. It's real. They are playing. There's nothing piped in. It's all happening live in front of you, and I am blown away by them.
So the new Broadway play
We gotta go
with
see that,
music, Stereophonic, is playing now. I'd like to.
We're gonna go.
I want to.
Please.
Okay, so it's playing now through August 18th at the John Golden Theater. Actress Juliana Canfield.
I hear, by the way, it's a staggering achievement.
That's a pretty good first review. Composer Will Butler and playwright David Adjmi. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. We'll be right back.